How y'all doing? It's old Judd here again. Today, I want to tell you a story come out of 2 Samuel chapter 11. Now, this is a big deal story. I mean, it's probably the most important story in like all of Samuel. I mean, it's crazy. So just listen up. Here we go. So, right now you got King David, and he's a king now, and he's a big deal. I mean, people love him. It's awesome. And they're fighting, wars is going on and stuff, and but David, he decided this time he wasn't going to go fight with them. He's going to stay in Jerusalem. So he was there, and he was hanging out, and he was out on his palace one day, and he said, let me go stroll around here and see what I can see. During it, he didn't look off, and he seen this old gal. Her name was Bathsheba. He seen her. She was down there on her little balcony or deck or wherever, down there taking a bath, naked as a jaybird. And he said, well, he said, well, she's minding her frog's hair. He said, I tell you what, got him one of his servants. He said, why don't you tell her to come up here? I'm going to have a little talk with her. Well, she come up there. Wouldn't you know they didn't end up sleeping together? I tell you what. And he knew that she was married to this fella named Uriah. He said, ain't that Uriah's wife? And they said, yeah, I think it is. He said, let me don't talk to her. He ended up sleeping with her. Darn if she didn't end up getting pregnant. I tell you what. Well, then old King David's like, well, what am I going to do now? Now he's like trying to, like he's on Maury, and it's like, you is the father. And he's like, oh, no, what am I going to do? So he decides, I know what I'll do. I'll get Uriah back and get Uriah to sleep with her, and then that way he'll think that he's the one that knocked her up, and I wasn't the one that knocked her up. That sounds like a good idea. So he sends word to old Joab, because Joab's his main man, and Uriah was fighting with him. He says, oh, Joab, he says, bring Uriah back. So he says, all right. So that's what they did. Got old Uriah back. And he says, hey, Uriah, he says, you doing good. He says, I tell you what, why don't you just go home, kick your feet up, wash your feet, stuff like that, and just go spend some time with your wife, He said, all right. He didn't do it. He felt bad. He went and slept with the servants. And then David, the next morning, David's like, what you doing, man? I told you to go home. And he's like, look, man, all them people there out fighting and they're at war, and I should be there, and I feel bad, and it just ain't right for me to be staying, getting all hanky-panky with my wife and all that when all my buddies and stuff's out fighting in the war. And he said, good grief, man, people. David said, I can tell you what, come to the palace and eat with me tonight, and then I'll send you back to war if that's what you want. That's what he did. David, he thought, I know what I need to get him drunk. And then he'll be wanting to get all wild and crazy, He ended up getting him drunk, and he said, all right, well, time for me to go home, go to bed, old Uriah said. He didn't go home. He went out and slept on a cot out there with the servants again because he still felt bad about it. David's like, dadgummit, I tell you what. He said, I can't get this guy to go sleep with his wife. I don't know what the problem is. So he said, all right, I know what I'll do. He writes a note to old Joab. It says, put Uriah in the front lines in the most dangerous spot so that he'll get killed. And give it to Uriah to go have him take it to Joab so that Joab can put, ain't that sorry? I tell you what, old David, he's a man after God's own heart, but he did some sorry stuff. But you know what, we all do some sorry stuff. But anyway, so old Uriah takes a note to Joab. Joab puts him up there. They're fighting whoever, Amorites, Ammonites, Mennonites, I don't know who in the cat here they was fighting, whatever, some kind of ites or whatever. He ends up going up to the front line. They're shooting down on him. Dead. Killed him. Well, he sends word back. Old Joab sends word back to David. He says, look, go tell King David that we was fighting and we kind of started getting took over. It wasn't working out too good. And if he starts getting mad, tell him that Uriah got killed with some other fella. And they was like, all right. So that's what they did. And he told David, that servant, he went and told old King David. He said, we lost some good men. And we even lost old Uriah. And David was like, yes. But he didn't act like that, He was like, well, you tell old Joab, say, sometimes people just die in war. That's just the way the life of being in war is, and that's what he did. Well, right after that, his Bathsheba, he ended up seeing her. The reason why he slept with her because she was in the bath naked. Maybe her mom and daddy shouldn't have named her Bathsheba. Maybe they should have named her bacon frying Sheba or something. At least she'd have had a shirt on then. But anyway, so old Bathsheba, she heard about old Uriah dying, and she felt bad about it, and she mourned for, I don't know, a week or so. Then right after that, old David got her up to the palace and married her. I don't know, it wasn't even being discreet about it or nothing, but I don't know. But that's what happened. It's a good story, and there's a lot more to it too. So y'all get out there and read it. Y'all have a good one now.